Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. My name is Nosipho Dlamini. We as a social solidarity group are going to discuss sociology of race using sociological perspectives, namely symbolic interaction, functionalism, conflict theory, which will be used to create a social just in a classroom. I would like to give this opportunity to my colleagues to introduce themselves.
My name is Zamokuhle Mkhize. I am going to define race according to sociologists.
I am Mkhize. I'm going to further explain race according to sociologists.
I'm Dumile Masoga. I'm going to define symbolic interaction.
I am Sandile Matasa. I'm going to further explain symbolic interactionalism.
I'm Stembele Kumalo. I'll also explain symbolic interactionalism and how we can use it to create a social just classroom.
I am Luyanda. I will explain functionalism theory.
I'm Mkhize. I'm going to add on functionalism.
I am Smangile Shange. I will introduce and explain conflict theory.
I am Dumsani Sitlekumethi. I'm going to further explain conflict theory.
I'm Persevan Lovo. I'm going to further give social just examples in conflict theory.
Okay, thank you. So now we are moving on to race. I would like to give that opportunity to my colleague. Over to you.
Thank you. Race is a name used to signify different types of human bodies, and it also helps classify people according to their skin color. When I say skin color, just look at this chart. This one looks black and this one looks white. So his skin color is black and his skin color is white. I'm just predicting that they are men. So this one belongs to a black race and this one belongs to a white race, and it's also used for and race classify people according to their phenotype. When I say phenotype, I mean physical appearances. When I see you appear black to me, so you belong to a black race. When I'm looking at you, you appear white to me, so you belong to a white race, right, my colleague?
Yes, types of races can include black or African, as you can see on the chart, Asian, Indian, white or colored. They link race with what it means directly to political struggles between different groups of people and social conflicts. There is also an underlying concept of race, which is racism, a racial categorization which focuses on the hierarchical arrangement of various racial groups. As we can see on this chart, white children are grouped together and the black children are also grouped together. This creates there is a subordinate group which make the other group feel less important than the other.
Yes. So, however, we were asked to define race according to sociologists. Some sociologists find it hard to define race because of its instability. Like I may come and say race is what, and she may come and argue with me that race is not what you said. Race is what and what and what. So, but some sociologists such as Robert Winard and Omi managed to define race on their book called Racial Formation in the United States. They said race is a concept that signifies and symbolizes people according to the social, to their different social perspective and according to their different human bodies. When I say social conflict, I mean someone may say I am white because I am smart, I am capable of doing things. I am black because I am strong, I am white, you know. So Winard and Omi managed to define race as like that.
And I say race is a category that groups people together who share biological traits and that society believe to be socially significant.
Yes. So my colleague mentioned something about subordinate group. This picture here symbolizes what apartheid was back in the days. We were, as black people, we were seen as inferior and whites were seen as superior. So this pic is the best representative of what racism is.
And this is a form of an oppressive which produces and creates a complex social issue, inequality in a society.
Yes, for me, in my perspective, for me, race is not just about your outer look. It's something that comes from within your inner voice, your inner body, your inner life. Like, yeah, not like if you're black, you are not capable of doing things. If you're white, you're capable of doing. No, it's not like that. It's just something that comes within you. Thank you.
Okay, to cover up race, I can say that skin color doesn't have anything to do. There's nothing you can do with your skin color. It doesn't give anything. So if you are black, doesn't mean you have black mind. If you are white, doesn't mean you have white mind. So now we will move on to symbolic interaction. I would like to take this opportunity and give it to my colleague there.
According to Julia Wood, symbolic interaction is a process whereby humans interact with symbols to create meanings. Through symbolic interaction, we acquire information and ideas, we share feelings, we understand our own experiences and those of others, and we also get to know each other.
Also allows humans to act toward things based on knowledge that they have. So, as symbolic interactionalism gives every individual a freedom to define things and construct meanings, so the idea of racism within the cycle of socialization will begin.
In addition on what my colleagues have said, Blamer argues that symbols allow us to intentionally communicate, and they also allow us to express and understand each other's views, thoughts, and ideas.
For symbolic interactionists, a race provides a strong symbol as a source of identity. In fact, interactionists propose that symbols of race, not race itself, are what lead to racism. Therefore, in order to create a socially just classroom to promote educative learning for all, in group works, a teacher must make sure that in groups consist of learners from divergent groups, as the collage represented here. The learners are working together with the assistant of their teacher.
For a teacher to contract a socially just classroom and a racial-free education for all, a teacher must have a deep understanding of traditional activities and cultural activities of all races in the classroom.
The teacher must have a proper background on different types of races and different types of beliefs, so that he or she may accommodate all students in there.
By doing what? By using symbols, as we said that symbolic interaction involves the use of symbols to create meanings. So a teacher can use symbols, of which is raising their hands. By doing so, a teacher will allow all learners from different races to express their views and thoughts and also their feelings. As you can see in this picture, all the learners from different races are raising their hands, which means that a teacher can point at any learner to express his or her views based on what is on her mind.
Okay, I think teachers are the one who can create unity to learners at an early age, because learners spend more time in school than with their families. So, and also we know that learners are capable of altering and modifying new information through simulation and accommodation.
Teachers may create group works which will involve all groups from all races, and also a teacher can use traditions and cultural practices to create equality and unity on learners.
Things.
Also, teachers may be able to use different symbols and activities where black and white learners will participate together. For example, like singing traditional songs with using their mother tongues, and also to wear cultural clothes in order to symbolize their races. This will help learners to get enough time to know each other and know more about race. Also will promote equality.
Functionalism. I would like to take this opportunity and give it to my colleagues there. Over to you, Miss.
Okay. Functionalism is a theory that sees society as a complex system whose parts work together to promote solidarity and stability. We all know that society is much more than the sum of itself. Each part of the society is functional to promote solidarity to the whole society. Duncan envisions society as organism. How? Within organism, each component plays a necessary role.
To add on what she said, Duncan also argued that the school is a mini society which prepares students into the wider society.
For a wider society. For example, in schools is where we are learning how to respect elderly people. When we are going outside the school, we find elderly people. That is where we need to use that respect we learn by the school.
As a teacher, I will promote the social injustice in my class by giving my learners a task which will demand them to work as a group.
In addition, if learners are encouraged to work in groups from different races, this will actually shape them to go and preach solidarity and practice solidarity in the workplace and or wherever they are.
In addition on what Lay said, as she said that it prepares the learners for a wider society. As we can see in this picture, these people are of different races and they are sitting outside the coffee shop drinking coffee, which means they are interacting. Maybe they were friends during a high school or a primary school, so they have grown up to this age and they are still communicating. So
in simple terms, functionalism means every person in the society has their own functions in creating a solidarity in the society. Like teachers have their own functions and parents have their own functions. As you can see here, a teacher, this is a black teacher, and these children are of a different race. So this black teacher teaches them how to write or whatsoever. But this is the best example of solidarity in the society, because the teacher is there to assist the learners and teaches them how to be racism free.
Okay, all that was functionalism. Now we are moving on to conflict theory. I would like to take this opportunity and give it to my lady.
A theorist who tried to argue about conflict theory is Karl Marx, who argues that social groups within a society interact in the basis of what? Of conflict rather than in general agreements. Some conflict theorists view conflict as an engine of what? Of change, which may provide positive outcomes or may create more conflict within the society. How does race interact with conflict theory? As people of different racial groups interact, they are bound to have conflict because, as you can see in this picture, we have children in the same class, but they are racially segregated. We have white children sitting together while the black children are sitting together. So social conflict theory exists. This is an example of a social conflict theory because they are being segregated due to their racial class areas. I will allow my colleagues to further explain their understanding of conflict theory and also add on how to use conflict theory to make a social just classroom.
To put more clarity on the conflict theory, according to my own understanding, conflict theory is a theory that focuses on a conflict that is caused by the lack of resources in a society. Okay, in this case, social and economic institutions are used as prominent and paramount tool to challenge the inequality and the dominance of the ruling class in a society. Okay, it further suggests that the fulfillment of one's education is solely based, is solely dependent or solely dependent on a social class. For instance, okay, the student from a higher socio-economic status are normally not given the same opportunities as the student from the lower socio-economic status.
To further add on that, on conflict theory, as my colleagues have explained, that it's usually the people in power over the people that are poor and people of poverty. It is the main source is the ones that's in power. So even if the other races, as explained here by my colleague, even if you can afford to take your child at very high costing schools, this is usually what happens. They separate the children, where the whites are seen as most important and the blacks or other racial different colors are separated, and this racism is instilled even on the children as little as they grow this way. So I'll further add on making a social just. I'll further give examples as us as teachers what we're going to do to make our classrooms a social just class for all multi-group ratios to be equal. So on other examples we thought of that we're going to do in class is maybe going to make debates and maybe invites or gets invited on other multiracial schools to for our learners and their learners to be in
I think as a teacher, in order to use conflict theory to create a social justice classroom, we have to treat learners equally without regarding their background.
To also add on what my colleague has said, as a teacher, we must exercise non-racial practices in the class. For instance, if you have a class, if you have a learner who is white and also a child who is black in the same class which are performing poorly, you mustn't use a way to address them which is differently. While, for instance, you are going to announce the black child's marks in front of the class, then maybe a white child you're going to tell the child maybe in the staff room alone, giving them privacy to not be shamed. So as a teacher, we must exercise non-racial practices in the class and also promote unity in the class.
Yes, just to emphasize on the importance of creating a socially just classroom. In classroom, after the teacher have segregated the children, like placing the whites together and the blacks together, these children see what teachers do and go report it to their parents. And you don't want parents to come to school and create conflict with you and the principal on how you treat their children in school. So it is important to create a socially just classroom in the society.
To further add on that, our education system is the textbooks are usually based on the achievements of one particular race. So us as teachers, we do more research on other multiracial to pass it on our children in order to know that it's not just one particular race that achieves things. So everybody has a potential to do anything. It's not just the mind. It's not just the race that determines what are your potentials in life. So it's better to do research in order to instill them on our children that they could achieve anything. Yes, and also looking at the picture here, we also thought that maybe on sport day we could host or either invite other multiracial schools in order for our children to participate, in order to interact with each other and grow a better relationship with other different multiracials. Yes, thank you.
By looking at this picture here, I can see that the person who is racial here is the teacher. So what I can say, us as teachers, we need to change, not to copy on this picture. Like if you can see, the white people are sitting on their side and the black people are sitting on their side. So us as teachers, I would like to say that we need to fight on this thing, try not to do this thing on our schools and so on.
I would also like to add on this picture. that what the teacher has done is totally wrong, because these children will grow up and they will develop hatred. Black will develop hatred for whites, and also the same thing will apply to whites, which means racism will never stop or end, which is not a good thing.
As a social solidarity group, we used a tree as our collage to represent a racial unity. In our roots, we used sociology, and also in our stems, we pasted the pictures which promotes unity. As we can see, these people are holding hands, and they are from different races. And as our creed grows, we have pasted pictures
Presents the diversity of racial groups. Here we have pictures of people belonging to different races. We have white, black, and so on. As you can see the leaves falling here, the leaves represent that there is a unity, the leaves are growing strong together. But when racism takes place, the tree starts to fall apart. These leaves represent racism taking place, where we have racial segregation, as you can see in this picture. But these people represent unity. We are trying to fix racism. We can see that people of racial groups are holding hands together. They are trying to build unity regardless of their race.
The Social Solidarity Group condemns racism.